Hi, we're going to take a look at Blocks, which is the new sequencer we've added to ACDR in the latest 1.5 update. That's a free update for all users, so grab it in native access. This is Blocks. It's the fourth of our sequencer engine after Beat Shifter, Euclidean beats and polybeats. This is Blocks, and the idea is, as you might start to get an idea, that you can set up any one of the 8 lanes, different length, different speeds, different rhythmic patterns, all independent of each other. So to illustrate that, I'm going to use the example of a trap beat to show you how half time, double time can work within Blocks and how it can make it a bit more intuitive to work with those kind of ideas. If we go to this menu here, it gives us the chance to kind of reset or load a template, and I'm just going to go for 4/4 in 16ths, which is what most of us are used to. And that's what this looks like. You'll see that the length of each lane is set to 4. That refers to 1, 2, 3, 4 beats to the bar. And the speed is in quarters. If I set up a typical trap pattern, I'd put a bass drum here and probably one here. I'm going to use our new clap sample, also new in the 1.5 update. It was a bit of an omission in the original release, so we've recorded new data, put a clap in there, and it sounds very good. I'm going to stick that on the 2 and the 4. Okay, we're at 140 classic trap tempo, but this is currently sounding more like dubstep. We'll address that in a moment. I'm just going to put the hats in, an alternating hat pattern. Okay, so as I mentioned, trap is often referred to as half time or double time, and the easiest way just to fix our trap sound here is to come to our bass drum and clap or snare pattern and just bring this down to a half. So literally half time. So now we recognize that as a trap beat. Very straightforward. And you can export, as with all our beat tools, you can export this to MIDI. So if I now drag this pattern to the DAW, you see it's set to 2 bars. It's given me 2 bars in the export. And here you'll see our kick and clap are spread across 2 bars. This is the classic way that people will program trap. They'll lay out 2 bars in the DAW, kind of one kick and one kick and one snare per bar, and that's how Blocks will lay it out in a familiar way to give it to you. Back to the Blocks interface. You'll notice that the grey kind of cursor markers are moving at different speeds. That gives you a nice sense of exactly how the different lanes are interacting. The next thing that Blocks is really all about, kind of how we conceived it, is that you can change the speeds and patterns at a kind of cellular level. In fact, our original name for this sequencer was Cellular. So the classic thing again with trap is that you're going to have some rolls, some maybe triplety rolls. So we can just go to these little plus and minuses here, and we can either subtract or add hits. So I could subtract that, and then you see I've got 3, but just in this block. So if I stick another one in here, and that gives me a kind of triplety stutter. If I wanted to do a kind of classic fast roll, I would then click this till I had 6. So 3, 6, we're still in triplets, and just simply add these here. I might just adjust the velocities on the alternating hat. I could extend that into the next bar if I wanted to. I've got one too many here. You can have up to 8 in each of these cells, but I'm going to keep it like this. So. You can get that kind of slowing down effect that you get with the triplet. So I've now placed this half hat also in a triplety grid under that part so it fits in. The other thing I should mention is, while I'm adding these extra hits and so on, is that a feature that Blocks has inherited from BeatShifter is that you can program the chance of something happening. I find that a really useful feature. For example, these little hi-hat accents I just added, we might not want that happening every bar. It's a bit too much. So if you click this, you get the green readout, and you can change the chance of these happening to really low, or velocity quantize just gives you 50% or full. You can turn that off for finer values. Let's have a listen. So we had 1, 2 that time. See what I mean? It's also great on kicks. Sometimes you just want a little extra one for an accent, but you don't want it all the time. Again, go into chance, just pull that down. It's going to happen. It's 50%. It's going to happen half of the time. And with the bar export here, the chance that you program. God, I find this really slippery. The chances that you program will evolve with the bar. So if I set this to 8 and drag that into my DAW, I get 8 bars, but you'll see that the chances have been incorporated. So this is our half hat here. You can see there's only these hits here, and it's not occurring the rest of the time. Again, with the kick, we've got a double one here, but not too many others. So I'm going to show you what you could do just with playing with the speed of this. Put the whole thing in a quarter triplet pattern. Instantly a different feel. 16th dotted. Can get really fast. And you could change the length, so you could, as I say, put the whole thing in a kind of 5 pattern. So that's really starting to play with the kind of spatial feel of it. It's almost on, but it's not. I like 5s because you can add a 5 hat pattern to a beat like this, and it sort of tricks the brain. You think it's on, but it's not quite. We could go to 7. The other possibility that Blocks offers with its variable lengths is the possibility to set up 2 or even 4 bars in the sequencer, which is a request we get quite a lot for the BeatShifter sequencer, which is kind of fixed to 1 bar. So with Blocks, you could just double this to 8 and double this to 8. Don't necessarily need to double the hi-hat pattern if you just want it to stay doing this regular 8th pattern. You see I've added this second bar here. I've added a double kick here in a kind of mirrored pattern, in a kind of variation on the pattern. Export is set to 4, so if I drag that out, yeah, you'll see we got our 4 bars here with the double kick on the last one. You can go further. I mean, as I say, yes, you can set the hi-hat to 8th if you wanted to have a roll at the end of one bar and not the other. Or you could go really crazy. You could have 4 bars by just, of course, setting it to 16. The blocks do get pretty skinny, so I'm not going to make you watch me try and add all of those hits because it does get a bit fiddly, but the possibilities are absolutely there. I hope that gives you a little bit of a sense of the flexibility that Blocks offers. I'm really only scratching the surface. I'm sure you're going to have your own ideas about different ways to set it up, different speeds, different things you can do, and that's the fun of it. So give it a try.